There is a law that governs all success, the law of doing what must be done, whether you feel like it or not. Every man or woman who has risen above mediocrity has mastered one great art, the art of self-command. They did not wait for inspiration, nor did they depend on mood or circumstance. They forced themselves to do what was important, and because of that, the world bowed to their will. You see, success does not respond to wishful thinking. It bends only to definite purpose and disciplined action. The lazy mind whispers, "Do it tomorrow." But the disciplined mind answers, "No, today." For today is the seed of destiny. When you act on what is important, you align with a higher power, the power of direction, the power of will. Every time you conquer procrastination, you build invisible muscles of mastery. Every time you push beyond your excuses, you train your mind to obey you instead of ruling you. Most people drift through life doing what is urgent, not what is important. They run from one distraction to another, mistaking motion for progress. But the few, the rare few, they rise above the noise. They decide what truly matters and give their energy only to that. They understand that every act of forced discipline eventually becomes effortless habit. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. The perfect condition is your decision. When you feel resistance, smile. It means you're standing at the door of growth. Force yourself to open it, walk through. On the other side lies strength, clarity, and the fulfillment of your purpose. You were not born to drift. You were born to direct your own destiny. And destiny favors those who act with courage and control. Each morning, ask yourself, what is the most important thing I can do today? Then do it, no matter how you feel. For when you learn to force yourself to do what is important only, you no longer need force. You have become it. You have become power itself, the power that shapes world. DS. The power that commands results, the power that no obstacle can defeat. So rise, command yourself, act with purpose, for the world belongs to those who do what is important only. Discipline is not a word, it is a force. It is the silent hand that shapes greatness, the invisible bridge between intention and realization. Without discipline, dreams remain fantasies. With it, the impossible becomes inevitable. Every achievement that has ever transformed the course of history has been built upon the unwavering foundation of self-discipline. It is the unseen engine that powers the human will beyond fear, fatigue, and failure. Those who understand discipline understand the secret rhythm of creation, for they know that progress is not born in comfort, but carved in consistency. To master discipline is to master oneself. The undisciplined man is a slave to moods, desires, and distractions, tossed around by circumstance like a leaf in the wind. The disciplined one commands his focus, channels his energy, and bends time to his purpose. Each day he awakens with direction, not desire, intention, not impulse. He knows that the mind can be trained like a muscle, that every act of control strengthens his inner power. When he says, "I will," it is not a wish, it is a decree. And because his will is backed by discipline, the world moves to meet his command. Discipline transforms ordinary hours into extraordinary results. It takes the same 24 hours granted to all and multiplies their value 100-fold. While others waste minutes chasing distractions, the disciplined individual invests them into growth, mastery, and legacy. He does not wait for motivation because he knows motivation is fleeting. He builds systems, rituals, and habits that operate even when inspiration sleeps. Through repetition, he creates momentum. Through momentum, he creates mastery. And through mastery, he commands achievement. His actions are not dictated by feeling, but by purpose, the power of discipline. Nay lies in its quiet persistence. It does not shout, yet it conquers. It does not rush, yet it arrives. Every small act of order strengthens the architecture of success. A person who disciplines their thoughts disciplines their future, for thought is the seed of every action. Control your mind, and you control your life. Discipline begins within, by refusing to indulge in self-pity, by choosing clarity over confusion, by saying yes to growth and no to excuses. It is the courage to act when the mood is gone, to persist when comfort calls, to finish what was begun long after the excitement has faded. There will always be a voice of resistance whispering, "Rest a little, wait a little, delay a little." But the disciplined spirit answers, "Now." Every moment wasted strengthens weakness. Every moment used strengthens will. The true measure of discipline is not in how you act when it is easy, but in how you move when everything in you wishes to stop. Those who master that inner battle master destiny itself. They understand that discipline is freedom in disguise, the freedom to create, to lead, to rise beyond limitation. It frees you from dependence on mood, environment, and chance. It gives you control over yourself, and that control is power beyond measure. Discipline is the golden thread that weaves through every story of triumph. It is the unspoken law behind the success of visionaries, leaders, and creators who refuse to yield. It is not glamorous, yet it is glorious. It is not fast, yet it is final. Those who embrace it become unstoppable forces of purpose and direction. For in the end, the disciplined life is not a life of restriction. It is a life of mastery. It is the art of aligning every thought, every breath, every action toward a single radiant aim. And through that alignment, achievement becomes not an accident, but a certainty, because discipline is, and always will be, the master key to all achievement. Desire is the spark that ignites imagination, but without acti. On it burns only an illusion. It tempts the mind with visions of greatness while lulling the spirit into inactivity. The world is full of dreamers who speak of what they will do someday, yet their days pass like smoke because they never act. To desire and not act is to lie to oneself, to claim the wish for progress while remaining a prisoner of hesitation. Every unfulfilled dream carries the weight of 1,000 excuses, and every excuse is proof that desire without action is deception disguised as hope. True desire demands proof through movement. It is not content with words or emotions. It insists on expression through effort. A man may say he desires success, but if he does not wake early, work with focus, and sacrifice comfort, his desire is counterfeit. A woman may say she wishes to change her life, but if she does not step beyond her fear, her wish is only a performance for the mind. Real desire burns until it becomes unbearable, and that fire cannot remain still. It transforms itself into decision, and decision into disciplined motion. Without that transformation, desire decays into fantasy, and fantasy is the enemy of progress. Action is the translator of desire into reality. Thoughts alone cannot move a single stone, but the smallest act can move a mountain when repeated with purpose. The universe responds not to wishes, but to will. It bends in favor of those who act. Every movement, every step, every attempt sends a signal of seriousness, and that signal invites opportunity. Life does not reward the thinker who only imagines. It rewards the doer who dares to begin. To think is to prepare. To act is to create. The bridge between them is courage, and courage is born when the desire for change grows stronger than the comfort of inaction. Desire without action is a mirage. It appears bright but vanishes upon approach. Many confuse inspiration for progress, yet inspiration without motion leads only to regret. You can read every book, plan every step, and speak of very dream, but if you do not move your hands, your feet, your mind toward its fulfillment, you deceive yourself. The greatest tragedy is not failure, but the illusion of striving without ever beginning. Action, no matter how small, transforms weakness into strength, uncertainty into clarity. Each act of doing dissolves fear and builds faith. For movement itself breeds confidence. There will always be a moment between desire and decision where hesitation lives. That moment is the battlefield of destiny. If you conquer it through action, you move forward. If you surrender to delay, you remain trapped. The mind is clever in justifying inaction. It will tell you to wait for the right time, the right mood, the right opportunity, but there is no right time, only time used or wasted. The right moment is the one in which you decide to begin. The world does not move for wishers, it moves for doers. The first act, however small, shatters the illusion and awakens the power that sleeps within desire and action are two halves of creation. One without the other is incomplete. Desire gives direction, action gives form. Together they shape destiny. Without action, desire is self-indulgence. With action, desire becomes purpose. The man who acts, even imperfectly, learns and grows. The man who only dreams stagnates and fades. Life honors movement because movement is life itself. To desire and not act is to betray your own potential, to live in the shadow of what could have been. But to act upon desire, to move with conviction, to labor toward what you seek, this is truth in motion. For in the end, only those who act are remembered, and only those who do prove that their desire was real. Path to greatness has never been paved with comfort. It begins with the simple yet unyielding act of doing what must be done, not what feels easy. The easy path seduces with temporary relief, but the necessary path builds eternal strength. Those who rise above mediocrity are not driven by comfort. They are driven by commitment. They understand that the price of success is paid in moments of effort when no one is watching, in the quiet labor of persistence, in the unglamorous repetition of what must be done day after day. It is in these silent battles that true greatness is born. Doing what must be done demands courage. It requires the strength to confront resistance within and without. The body resists effort. The mind resists discomfort. The world resists progress. But the disciplined soul resists none of it. It moves forward despite fatigue, despite fear, despite the desire to stop. To do what must be done is to rise above feeling and to act from purpose. Feelings are fickle, they change with the hour. Purpose endures like the sun. The easy road asks nothing and gives nothing, but the hard road, the necessary road, builds the power to command your destiny. Ease is the enemy of growth. The muscles of character, will, and perseverance are only strengthened under pressure. When you choose what feels easy, you remain where you are. When you choose what must be done, you evolve. Success belongs not to those who avoid struggle, but to those who embrace it with faith and fortitude. Every great artist, inventor, leader, or builder began with tasks that were demanding, uncertain, and often unpleasant. Yet they did them anyway, not because they felt ready, but because they understood readiness is born through action. Not before it, there is a truth known by all who have ever accomplished anything meaningful. Discipline is the bridge between desire and result. The moment you act on what must be done, even when your spirit protests, you plant the seed of transformation. Each time you choose duty over ease, you teach your mind obedience and your heart endurance. The easy path weakens the will, the hard path tempers it like steel. When you walk the road of necessity, you discover a strength that comfort could never reveal. The very act of doing what must be done becomes the fire. Hat forges your greatness. Most people live as prisoners of preference. They do only what feels right, what feels light, what feels comfortable. And so they live in circles, starting much, finishing little, dreaming much, achieving nothing. The few who succeed understand a sacred law. Progress requires payment, and the payment is effort. They do not ask, "Do I feel like it?" They ask, "Is it necessary?" They do not seek convenience, they seek completion. In doing what must be done, they build the habit of victory, for victory is not a moment. It is a mindset formed through daily acts of necessity. Doing what must be done brings order to chaos. It creates clarity, confidence, and control. Each fulfilled duty opens the door to the next. The mountain of success is climbed one deliberate step at a time, and every step is a choice between ease and purpose. When you act upon necessity, you align with the laws of achievement. You transform effort into progress and progress into power. The easy life breeds regret, but the necessary life breeds legacy. Choose what must be done, not what feels easy, and you will discover that greatness does not come to the comfortable. It comes to the committed. For in the end, every great success begins not with pleasure, but with the unwavering will to do what must be done. Power does not come to the one who waits. It comes to the one who moves. Every moment you hesitate, you surrender a piece of your will to doubt. Every time you act, you reclaim your strength. Forcing yourself to act when your mind resists is the highest form of mastery, because in that instant, you prove that you are stronger than your excuses. The mind will whisper 1,000 reasons to delay, to plan, to prepare just a little longer. But the truth is simple. Action is the cure for hesitation, and movement is the birth of momentum. The one who learns to act despite fear, fatigue, or uncertainty begins to awaken a power that cannot be shaken. Hesitation is the thief of greatness. It disguises itself as logic, as caution, as patience. But beneath its mask lives fear. It is the subtle paralysis that kills dreams before they are born. It convinces you that you need more time, more confidence, more clarity, when all you really need is courage. Action clarifies, inaction confuses. The moment you step forward, the fog begins to lift. Each small act ignites confidence, and confidence creates the energy to keep moving. Those who wait for the perfect moment never find it, because perfection is not a condition. It is a consequence of persistent doing. Forcing yourself to act is not cruelty toward yourself. It is commitment to your purpose. It is the disciplined declaration that your goals matter more than your moods. The mind is a tool, not a master. When you command it to act, even when it resists, you train it to obey. That obedience is inner power, the power to direct yourself instead of being directed by impulse. Each act of will strengthens the habit of decisiveness, and decisiveness is the mark of all great achievers. They do not waste energy on hesitation. They convert it into execution. Through the act of forcing motion, they generate momentum, and momentum becomes unstoppable force. The act of forcing yourself to move when you least feel like it is a sacred test. It measures your commitment against your comfort. Those who pass this test rise. Those who fail remain trapped in the cycles of someday. The truth is that the hardest moment of any task is the first step. Once movement begins, resistance loses its hold. The body warms, the mind clears, the spirit awakens. Action breaks the inertia that hesitation builds. Each deliberate step becomes proof that you are capable, that you are in command, that you possess the strength to shape your reality. Power grows each time you silence hesitation with action. Hesitation destroys not only opportunity, but identity. Every time you hesitate, you affirm weakness to yourself. You teach your mind that fear is stronger than purpose. Over time, hesitation breeds self-doubt, and self-doubt becomes a habit that poisons confidence. The person who hesitates becomes a spectator of their own potential. Yet the one who acts, even imperfectly, transforms potential into progress and progress into power. It is not talent that separates the great from the ordinary. It is the willingness to move while others pause. The moment you act, you break free from the paralysis of thought and enter the realm of creation. To force yourself to act is to choose growth over comfort, courage over fear, truth over illusion. It is to seize the reins of your own destiny and declare, "I will move." This declaration reshapes your life, because every act of movement creates energy, and energy creates results. The more you act, the stronger your will becomes. The more you hesitate, the weaker it grows. Inner power is not given, it is built, forged through the repeated choice to move forward despite resistance. So act now, not later. Begin, not tomorrow. For in the moment of action, you step out of hesitation and into strength. And that strength, once awakened, will never leave you. The greatest empire you will ever rule is the empire within. The mind is both servant and master, a tool of creation or destruction, depending on who holds the reins. Those who command their own minds rise above circumstance, while those who are ruled by thought drift wherever the winds of emotion blow. The world rewards not the strongest, not the luckiest, but those who master their inner world. When you control your thoughts, you control your direction. When you govern your emotions, you govern your results. All greatness begins with mental dominion. For the battlefield of success is always fought and won within every achievement that has shaped civilization was born from a mind disciplined to obey intention rather than impulse. The uncontrolled mind is a restless sea, tossed by fear, doubt, and distraction, never still long enough to, reflect truth. But the mind under command is like a calm river, directed, focused, unstoppable. To command your mind is to choose your thoughts with precision, to reject those that weaken, and to cultivate those that empower. The world is full of people who wish for change, yet refuse to discipline their thinking, forgetting that life mirrors the patterns of the mind. What you hold in thought, you attract in reality. Command begins with awareness. You cannot control what you do not observe. Most people live unconsciously, reacting to circumstance like puppets pulled by invisible strings of habit. They allow fear to dictate decisions and pleasure to define purpose. But the one who has awakened to mastery watches every thought as a general watches his army. He does not permit negative imagination to occupy his inner territory. He replaces fear with faith, complaint with gratitude, and hesitation with decision. This constant vigilance transforms him from a slave of thought into a ruler of destiny. The world bends to such a person because his energy is clear, his intent is definite, and his will is unshakable. To command the mind is to harness the most powerful force in existence, the power of focus. Energy flows where attention goes, and whatever the mind continually dwells upon expands. If you dwell on limitation, your life shrinks. If you dwell on possibility, your life enlarges. The disciplined thinker does not scatter attention across trivialities. He concentrates it upon a single burning aim. This focus turns ordinary effort into extraordinary result. When the mind is commanded, distractions lose their power, procrastination dissolves, and the invisible becomes visible through persistent mental clarity. The undisciplined mind is easily conquered by the world. It follows trends, opinions, and emotions of others, never realizing that its servitude is self-imposed. But the one who rules his mind becomes immune to chaos. He remains centered in storms, steady under pressure, and calm when others panic. This calmness is not weakness, it is supreme power. It is the strength to respond rather than react, to create rather than collapse. Such mastery attracts opportunity because the world recognizes stability as leadership. Those who command their inner states command external circumstances in time, for all things material are first born in thought. The mind is your instrument, not your identity. It is meant to serve you, not rule you. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, gratitude over grievance, vision over fear, you are asserting your sovereignty. The world bows to those who have conquered themselves because they stand as examples of order in a sea of confusion. Wealth, influence, and peace of mind all follow naturally to those who have achieved inner mastery, for the outer world mirrors the inner condition. The undisciplined seek control over others. The wise seek control over self. When you can direct your thoughts as a commander directs soldiers, the world itself becomes your ally. For in truth, the greatest reward is not what the world gives you. It is who you become when you command your own mind. Success is not an accident of fortune or the product of ease. It is the direct result of conscious effort guided by purpose. Comfort is the great deceiver. It lulls the mind into stillness and convinces the heart that satisfaction is the same as fulfillment. Yet comfort has never created greatness. Every breakthrough in human history was born from discomfort, from the refusal to settle, from the relentless drive to move beyond what feels safe. Success demands effort that is awake, deliberate, and directed. It demands that you rise each day with clarity of intent and the discipline to act upon it, no matter how heavy the resistance may feel. Comfort whispers promises of peace, but delivers stagnation. It teaches the habit of delay and disguises idleness as rest. Those who seek comfort above all else slowly trade their potential for pleasure, their ambition for ease. But the few who embrace conscious effort understand that discomfort is not the enemy. It is the forge in which strength is shaped. They welcome the struggle because they know struggle sharpens focus, and focus builds mastery. It is not suffering that destroys a person. It is the avoidance of effort that weakens the soul. Every act of purposeful exertion strengthens the unseen muscles of resilience and willpower. Conscious effort is not the blind hustle of desperation. It is deliberate motion born from inner direction. It is work done with awareness, guided by a clear sense of why. To labor without purpose drains energy. To labor with purpose multiplies it. Every great success begins with a reason so compelling that it pulls the body through exhaustion and the mind through doubt. Purpose gives meaning to effort, and meaning transforms toil into triumph. The one who knows his why can endure any how. The one who acts without it is swept away by fatigue and frustration. For effort without vision leads only to exhaustion. The comfort seeker waits for inspiration, but the purposeful worker creates it. Comfort lives in the realm of ease. Purpose lives in the realm of progress. When you act with awareness, even the smallest step becomes sacred, for it carries the weight of intention. Conscious effort is not about endless labor. It is about directed energy. It is the difference between wandering and advancing, between noise and movement, between activity and achievement. The purposeful individual measures success not by how easy life feels, but by how deeply they move toward their vision each day. True success is a state of expansion, and expansion requires friction. Just as the seed must break its shell to grow, you must break the boundaries of comfort to evolve. The mind resists this truth because it craves ease, but the heart knows that only through effort does meaning unfold. Every time you step beyond the limits of convenience, you awaken dormant power. Each act of conscious exertion refines character, deepens understanding, and builds the unshakable confidence that only earned success can provide. The easy road may offer momentary pleasure, but it leads nowhere. The road of purpose, though steep, leads to fulfillment. Comfort fades, but growth endures. When you give yourself to conscious effort toward purpose, life gains depth, direction, and dignity. You stop existing and begin creating. You stop waiting and begin becoming. Success, then, is not a place you arrive at. It is a state you cultivate through disciplined awareness and intentional action. Those who live with purpose know that effort is not punishment, it is privilege. To work toward what you love with full awareness is to participate in creation itself. So rise from the illusion of comfort, stand firm in your purpose, and pour your effort into it with your whole being. For success will never be found in what is easy. It will always be found in what is done with conscious effort toward purpose.